This session is looking at our district leaders. Tonight, our hosts are myself, Carolyn Curley, Distinguished Toastmaster and past District Director for District 32. Joining me is Joyce Vick, also Distinguished Toastmaster. Joyce and I belong to numerous clubs within District 32. We are completing the project for the podcast, Working Through Pathways Together. Tonight, we welcome our Program Quality Director for District 32, Debbie Baker. I've known Debbie for several years, and I have been so impressed with her growth as a leader, especially within District 32. From serving as our area and division director, mentoring division directors, serving as a co-chair and chair for our district conference, especially when we had to rapidly change from an in-person to an online format. This year, Debbie Baker is serving as our program quality director. She has completed 2 paths and is working to complete her Distinguished Toastmaster in Pathways. Please help me welcome both our co-host, Joyce Vick, and Debbie Baker, our Program Quality Director.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I am so glad you could join us. Joyce, do you have the questions available? We will be tag teaming Debbie with our questions.
I do. Carolyn, thank you very much. Would you like me to start out or would you like
I would
to start
love
out?
for you to start off.
All right. So, Debbie, you've been in Toastmasters for quite a while. Why did you initially decide to join Toastmasters?
Why did I initially decide to join Toastmasters? I actually joined Toastmasters 2 separate times. Initially, I thought or felt that I had a passion or a joy when I would give presentations. And I thought, why not do Toastmasters so that one day that might be my career? Eventually, I left and went home and raised my last daughter. And around 2015, I returned to Toastmasters. And in that moment, I had come to make friends that were healthy, that decided that they wanted to grow, and that they were also going to give me something in the process of growing. I remain because I still am not done growing. There is always one more thing I didn't even know that I didn't know.
Debbie, thank you for sharing that with us. And I can attest to the fact that growing in Toastmasters is something that we all have the opportunity to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your greatest achievement in Toastmasters so far.
I have several greatest achievements. I don't look at it as though it's any one specific thing. I would like to emphasize the growth that I have experienced in taking on my leadership roles. Starting at the club, every time I took on an officer role, I tried to assign myself a goal for that year. And not only did I achieve that goal, but there was always something else that showed itself as something I needed to work on and grow with. And that continues as I have moved up. The biggest thing is all those things that I ignored, that I simply wasn't willing to do. Well, they keep coming back and they keep bugging me. And then finally, when it gets heavy enough, I step forward and I step up and I say, okay, I am ready to learn this too. That is what my biggest achievement would be, in the fact that I say yes and that I'm willing to do the task or the tasks that it takes to really seed that growth deep down and then continue to watch it flourish in the next role and the next role.
Thank you so much. Joyce, your turn for a question.
All right. Well, Debbie, it sounds like your life is very complicated. It sounds like you've got a lot going on, and you really jumped into a role this year. What is your vision for your role this year?
I have a pretty good vision, I'd like to think. This year, my primary duties are to focus on the training throughout the district. The club officer training, the area and division director trainings, and then some additional trainings that come to the surface that we can see within the clubs. What is it our members need? This year, one of the big things that our district director has decided that she wanted to implement is the 12-week year. It's a plan that is in the 12-week year plan book. I did not connect right away that meant I needed to give training on that specific topic. But if I want people to apply it, then I need to ensure that they understand how to apply it regardless of whether or not they have read that book. And so the vision starts with my desire to offer trainings that meet the need, that will excite our members enough to create a community that wants to gather, that wants to take the growth and the social aspect that comes in with the training and form bonds that are beyond their clubs and beyond their districts. The fact that we are able to do this with Zoom definitely helps to remove the geographical differences between Alaska and Washington as well. My vision is also to increase communication so that we feel from the club level all the way up through the director level that everybody's aware. Nobody is coming to me and saying, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. That's going to take a big effort. Yet I also feel communication could be another training that could come in throughout this year. There are a few other things that I feel I see as a need. Marketing, especially for the different platforms that are available. And then the planning, the presenters, things like that, where we present this year what comes across as a professional, really well thought out and planned experience. And folks walk away with a smile and feeling that their participation was worth the time they gave.
Well, thank you very much, Debbie. That is a big goal, that is for sure. And I love the vision and the challenges that come with it. Mm-hmm. Carolyn, do you have a question for Debbie?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much, Joyce. Debbie, as program quality director and one of the trio, you went to the 2022 Toastmasters International Convention in Nashville, Tennessee this year. What did you love about that convention?
I'm going to take a few moments and give you a few answers about what I learned at the convention and about the convention. I was very nervous to be going to convention. I was not looking forward to interacting with folks. And one of the very first exercises that we did was we took and broke off into groups of a minimum of 4, and they were 4 people that I did not know before coming. And we did a cup stacking experience where you had the silo cups and a note card and then another cup, and everybody added a cup each time. And your goal was to make this stack as high as you could. Now, it took time where the team had to come in and assist, because each time you finished your turn, you had to turn the set of cups over. So imagine when you had 11 cups stacked with all those little note cards, which are quite flimsy, by the way. And you had to discuss your plan. You had to be discussing how might we make this work? And then when it would fall apart, how did I respond? And where was the encouragement and things like that? So it was an awesome experience from the get-go there. That then relaxed me to participate more actively, which then resulted in some excellent training. That was the next thing I loved. The training was significantly better than the year before, which was on Zoom. I would say it was a lot of the social input and feedback that folks were giving in between and during the sessions. And then finally, one of my favorite sessions, we came forward in that session and we wrote down a challenge or an obstacle. And then the group forwarded each table's obstacle to the next table and the next table and the next table. And at those tables, those folks were to write in ideas that could be utilized to overcome or resolve the challenges. There were about 8 tables. So I have several pieces of advice and ideas, and they are connected to the individual that gave me that information. So now I can also reach out to the individual and have a conversation. That was a great brain stretching exercise for me, not to give the same feedback from person to person and table to table, but to also get my feedback and see the ideas that had come forward.
Thank you so much. Talk about networking, the opportunity not only beyond the district, but globally to reach other Toastmasters around the world and have those connections. That sounds like an awesome experience in training. Joyce, your turn for a question.
All right. Well, thank you. You have a lot going on, Debbie. You've been going to the conferences, you've been leading the trainings, not to mention all the clubs that you still belong to. So I want to know, how do you do it? How do you balance everything from District 32 to your clubs, to your personal life, to your professional life? How do you do everything?
Well, Joyce, that is definitely a lesson that grows over time. Just like everything else, you get to the conclusion of one year and you say, how would I do that differently? And it all builds. At first, it was challenging for me to keep track of multiple schedules. So I do have a specific planner that I had purchased that is for 5 years. Therefore, I do not have to change calendars with these 3 years in the trio. And to go into the immediate past president role, I still will be within that same calendar. So all those events that are coming up in January, February, and March for this year, they're currently planned, except for the auxiliary trainings that I have asked myself to implement. Therefore, I'm able to look out and make sure that I am not putting something that will conflict either right before or right after my responsibilities. In addition, I purposefully schedule some slots of time where I am not doing anything Toastmasters. I'm not going to answer texts. I'm not going to read emails. I'm not going to take the phone call. Instead, I am saying this is time for me to recover, to go do crafts, to work on things that bring me back my sense of stillness and wholeness along the way. I do attend my club meetings. I do work to create articles and to create the trainings and things such as that. And I'm continuing to try to build the team of folks that will support and provide, assistance in a way that would relieve more and more of those pressures from myself and the other team members. Those are the things that I keep as a priority, but I work on them where the time allows. My other priorities are numbered, and I review those every week. Therefore, I know at times I need to shuffle things, especially when something comes in last minute. But the shuffle based with the priority, I'm able to put those things in and feel very calm about what it is I need to do.
Well, thank you, Debbie. I picked up a hint. I'm going to run out and buy a 5-year calendar. What a great idea.
Yes.
Carolyn, do you have the last question for Debbie?
Yes, I do. And thank you so much, Joyce. Debbie, having a calendar like that is a great tip. Now that we're coming to the end of our interview, what would you say to our members to encourage them to take on leadership roles in District 32?
I start with a question to each member in District 32. Take a look at your life. Have you stretched and have you grown over the last year? How about the last 3 years? Are you at that goal place of being the best you that you can be? If not, consider taking on a role in leadership. Not only could we use your help and your service giving back to the district, to myself, and to our fellow members, but I guarantee you will grow. You have to work with others. Those are the denominators that you don't get to control. And every time you work with others, they stretch you. They require you to pay attention or to give feedback or to deliver a product. And folks don't always understand what's on your plate. So you have to practice speaking up for yourself and to be a leader. These are the qualities that you get to gain by taking on a leadership role. And amazingly, you get to do it on the fast track. Nothing like Toastmasters doing one role for 1 year, and you got to give it your all because that's your year as the area director, as the division director, as the trio member, club growth, program quality, and division or district director. So if you want to have a great year, you have to plan ahead. You have to take the action. And that's what I encourage you to do. Don't hold back because you feel busy. Work it within your life. Make it happen. And certainly feel free to reach out to me for a conversation and a little push to move you into service.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I really appreciate the words you shared to encourage our members to try to do something challenging for themselves to help them grow. As Program Quality Director, I hope you have an excellent year sharing your vision of training, education, and service to members of District 32. Joyce, do you have any final words?
Debbie, I would like to thank you for your vision for this year, for the challenges that you've faced with the training, and with the opportunity that you have had going to the conference and learning and networking from other people. I think Toastmasters is a wonderful, wonderful organization. Where else can you go and hang out with positive, energetic people? I am so glad that you are in charge of training this year. I look forward to the sessions next session, and I have enjoyed the 3 sessions of training that you already put on this year. So thank you very much for your hard work, and thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Joyce.
We look forward to seeing all of our members in District 32 participating in different events throughout the year. Remember to check not only district32toastmasters.org, but also see what's going on with Nerdmasters. You never know where you can grow.
Whether you identify as a gamer, technology nut, or just have a commitment to studying how technology is changing and improving both leadership and communication, our Nerd Herd has a place for you. Find out more about us at our website, nerdmasters.org. Join us the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock Pacific and get to know us before our meeting starts promptly at 7:30. You will visit our club and enjoy it.
Resistance is futile.
Game over.